Picture this. We're in Hoboken at Ever After & Co. Salon. Sherry's getting a root touch-up and trim. I'm getting a blowout that could withstand a hurricane. And next to us is the most stunning newlywed, getting extensions so long they practically touch the ground.
I love this one. She tells the stylist she wants Rapunzel length, which of course means we're calling her Rapunzel for the rest of this story.
As we're sitting there, Rapunzel mentions she and her husband are planning a vacation and talking about decorating their apartment. And completely offhand, she adds, "We'll worry about retirement when we're older."
Okay, we must admit, we had some judgy thoughts in our heads. But before we can even jump in, our stylist, who instantly becomes the fairy godmother of this episode, spins around with her comb raised like a wand and says, "No, you won't. You start now."
She was so serious. And that's how this entire episode was born. Because sometimes financial wisdom shows up wearing black gloves and holding a round brush.
And while your scalp is starting to itch, newlyweds think retirement is something for later, much later, after the wedding, after the house, after the kids, after the chaos.
But compound interest doesn't care about romance. It cares about time. And the earlier you start, the less you have to contribute later.
It's true. Our fairy godmother stylist told Rapunzel that choosing to save early was the single reason she and her husband had complete financial freedom today.
She literally said, "I weave golden hair all day because I want to, not because I have to." And honestly,
mic drop.
So Rapunzel sits there, watching her hair magically transform, listening to the stylist describe how she and her husband opened their retirement accounts in their 20s. Tiny deposits at first, but consistent.
She maxed out her 401k. He passed on golf outings so he could do the maximum yearly IRA contribution.
They had investment accounts, too. They even made a game of saving. She told us how they had a high-interest account that started. Forgo pizza one night, $20 into the fund. Skip their daily Starbucks for the month. That was a $100 deposit.
And brick by brick, they built what they called their freedom fund. And one day she realized she could choose the life she wanted instead of scrambling for the one she had.
Rapunzel looks over at us and says, "So you're saying we should actually start now?"
And three voices, me, Morgan, and the fairy godmother holding the comb wands, all said, "Yes."
And here's the real ending to the story. A few years later, we bump into Rapunzel on Washington Street in Hoboken. She waves us down and says, "Do you remember that conversation we had in the salon?" We nodded. She said, "Well, we did. We've already saved our first $100,000.
That's the kind of ending we love. Let's break down what Rapunzel and every newlywed actually needs to build the retirement tower. And none of this requires being wealthy. It only requires beginning. First, employer retirement plans. If one of you has a 401k, 403b, or employer plan, you start there. It's automatic. It's simple. And if the employer offers any match, that's money you would be turning down if you don't contribute.
Newlyweds skip this because they think they need all their cash now. But waiting even a few years can cost you hundreds of thousands in long-term growth. If your employer matches 3% and you put in 3%, you've doubled your contribution instantly. No magic, just math.
Second, if you're self-employed, use a SEP IRA or a Roth IRA. freelancers, creators, small business owners, this is how you build your tower. A SEP IRA allows significant contribution. A Roth IRA grows tax-free, which is incredibly powerful when you're young and your income is still climbing.
And it does not matter if you start with $50 or $100 a month. What matters is that you begin. Compound interest rewards consistency, not perfection.
Third, always list beneficiaries and keep them updated. Accounts do not magically update when your life changes. Marriage, children, divorce, new job. All of that requires reviewing your beneficiary forms.
We've seen far too many cases where outdated beneficiaries led to money going to the wrong person. Avoidable drama. Review those forms.
Fourth, investment accounts. You don't need huge contributions. Start small, but stay steady, and you sure will invest well.
No get rich schemes, just sound investments and get help when you need it.
Fifth, life insurance. Not morbid, mature. If you share a home, rely on each other's income, or plan to raise children, term life insurance protects your spouse financially if something terrible happens.
It is a love letter disguised as paperwork.
And sixth, build your tower one brick at a time. Retirement is not built by dramatic financial gestures. It's built by small, repeated ones. $50 a month, 1% increases each year. The habit is what matters.
The couples who win are the ones who stay consistent, not the ones who have occasional big months. Let's talk about what actually works in real life. First, automate your savings. If the money leaves your paycheck before you ever touch it, you won't miss it. You won't talk yourselves out of investing.
It's true. Second, treat retirement like a bill you pay to your future selves. You pay the electric bill, you pay your rent, you pay your phone, you pay your future selves because they deserve that same reliability.
Third, sit down and have the long-term conversation. What age do you want to retire? What do you want your life to look like? Travel, a second home, a slower pace, a career shift? These conversations create direction.
And last, revisit everything once a year. Increase contributions if you can. Update beneficiaries. Check your insurance. Adjust your goals. Life changes. Your plan should too. Build your tower together, one thoughtful choice, one steady deposit at a time.
Romance is beautiful, but security? That's what let romance last.
A strong retirement tower is not a fantasy. It's the result of two people choosing their future with intention.
Thanks for joining us for episode 18 of The Newlywed Files.
Next week, The Kingdom Without a Contract, a real-life fairy tale about falling in love, going into business together, and what happens when the marriage or the business doesn't last.
Because when there's no agreement, endings get expensive. We'll see you next time.